With the darkness sect's help, the heavenly court should be better off. The heavenly emperor treated him too well, causing Hanju to feel bad if he didn't return this favor. Now, he was finally able to help the heavenly court. Dao Sovereign had strong talent, but he was only a prodigy in the end. He couldn't decide the outcome of the battle between the major factions. However, the Darkness sect was different. They had many ancient races under them. With such a huge force supporting the heavenly court, how could it not be strong? Hanju got up and walked out of the cave abode. I'm going to preach. Everyone, sit tight. Hanju's voice resounded throughout the entire Dao field. Even the 10,000 Nether race members heard it. They couldn't help but look forward to it. They still remembered how Empress Huda had preached the Dao to them. Jiangyi couldn't help but open his eyes and look at Hanju curiously. Ever since he experienced the simulation trial, Hanju's image in his heart had become tall and mysterious. He was also shocked by the mystical power of the simulation trial. How could Hanju be weak if he could simulate the cultivation of an ultimate expert? Thinking about it carefully, Jiangyi was shocked to find that he had never defeated Hanju. Although his attitude in the past was humble, he was clearly not afraid. Looking back, he felt that Hanju was just coaxing him in the past. Also, the Golden Crow Divine Emperor had definitely died in Hanju's hands. This was because he had fought the Golden Crow Divine Emperor in the simulation trial. He was as powerful as in reality. Hanju didn't know what Jiangyi was thinking. He sat down in front of the Fusong tree and started to talk. Everyone sat down, including Diamond Rage and the Black Hell Demon Lord. As he began to talk about his understanding of cultivation, his voice was filled with magic. It immediately made everyone enter a state of comprehension. They recalled their cultivation and their spiritual perception exploded. All kinds of strange ideas appeared in their minds, enlightening them. This lecture lasted for 5 years. After that, Hanju spent another 2 years answering their questions. The Nether race members didn't receive such treatment, or Hanju would have died of exhaustion. After speaking, Hanju returned to his cave abode and called Dao Comprehension Sword. After the cave abode closed, Dao Comprehension Sword knelt in front of him with a curious expression. She didn't know why Hanju called her. Hanju asked, "Did your previous master look for you recently?" Dao Comprehension Sword asked in surprise, "If I stay here, how will she find me?" "Like in your dreams." "Dream?" "That's true. Recently, I've been dreaming about her. She's cultivating beside me, but she hasn't spoken to me." Hanju frowned after hearing that. Tai Sutian was indeed harboring evil intentions. Dao Comprehension Sword was already a Grand Unity True Immortal and was not far from the Grand Unity Golden Immortal Realm. How could she dream for no reason? Dao Comprehension Sword added, "Don't worry, Master. I only have you as my master now. Even if you want me to kill her, I will. Her kindness to me can only be considered a favor. She didn't even notice me. You are different. You made me transform and let me embark on the path of cultivation. You even protected me." As she spoke, Dao Comprehension Sword's eyes turned red. She meant it. Her true form was heaven and earth grass, and she had experienced many lifetimes. Before she met Hanju, she was a grass that floated in all directions of the world. She had been stepped on countless times and suffered countless storms. However, after meeting Hanju, she had never suffered. Now, she was even more carefree and had many friends to talk about the world with. Her life was very comfortable. Hanju smiled and said, "I naturally know how you feel about me, but sometimes, there are many things that you can't control. I want to leave the 6 paths insignia on your soul. If your previous master wants to take the opportunity to control you, I will be able to sense it immediately. In addition, after this insignia is imprinted, I will also control your life and death." The reason why Hanju said this was because he was afraid that Tai Sutian would discover the 6 paths insignia and drive a wedge between him and Dao Comprehension Sword. In that case, he might as well find an opportunity to admit it and eliminate the possibility of danger. All right. Dao Comprehension Sword agreed immediately and then sat beside him. She was very obedient and didn't even feel nervous. She had a cold and beautiful face, but her eyes were full of smiles. She wasn't guarded against him at all. Hanju's heart softened, but his hands were still very honest. He still had to do it. In the face of absolute power, feelings were very fragile. It wasn't that Hanju didn't trust Dao Comprehension Sword, but that he did not trust Taishu Tian. He had to strengthen the 6 Paths insignia to prevent future trouble. Several days later, Dao Comprehension Sword walked out of the cave abode and came to Li Yao's side. Li Yao asked curiously, "Why did Sect Master look for you?" Hanju rarely took the initiative to call Dao Comprehension Sword. Dao Comprehension Sword smiled proudly. "It's hard to say. Don't ask." As she spoke, she even threw a smug look at Tu Linger. Tu Linger curled her lips, her eyes filled with jealousy. Unlike the others, she didn't want to acknowledge Hanju as her master at first. She wanted another identity, but she didn't get her wish. Sigh, master is becoming more and more unfathomable. I don't even have a chance to interact with him. What should I do? Tu Linger fell into deep worry. If a handsome man like Hanju went out, he would definitely attract the favor of many peerless and ambitious women. At that time, how could she compete? 30 years later, while cultivating, Hanju took out the Book of Misfortune and started cursing the enemy while checking his emails. It had been more than 200 years since he broke through to the deity realm. He had yet to break through to the two mystic divine origin, but he was not far away. In fact, he could rely on the heavenly Tao merit to break through, but he did not want to be controlled by the heavenly Tao. In short, Hanju's mentality was not bad. He was neither anxious nor impatient. Your good friend Ji Xianshan was cursed by a mysterious curse. Your grand disciple Fang Liang has comprehended the heavenly Tao and his mystical power has improved. Your good friend Li Daokong was cursed by a mysterious curse. Because he has the supreme treasure, he is not affected. Your good friend Huang Zuntian was cursed by a mysterious curse. Your good friend Divine General has obtained a mysterious pill. His cultivation has increased greatly. Your good friend Zhou Fan was attacked by demons, X12229. Your good friend Mo Fuzhou has joined the darkness sect and his providence has transformed. Your Tao companion Xing Hongxian has obtained the human emperor's inheritance. Her cultivation has increased greatly. Your disciple Long Hao forcefully stepped into the emperor realm. His soul was punished by the heavenly Tao. Fortunately, with the help of a mysterious mighty figure, his consciousness floated into the river of destiny and observed fate. So many mysterious curses. Hanju cursed silently. Currently, 3 people were pretending to be him, Zhu Tu, Xuan Mingdi, and Jing Tiangong. Who knew if there was a 4th? Hanju felt that there was, or even more. At this rate, the entire immortal world would be cursed. Too chaotic. Hanju noticed that Mo Fuzhou had also joined the darkness sect. Why didn't Zhou Fan join? Had the 2 brothers broken up again? As for Xing Hongxian, she actually obtained the human emperor's inheritance. As expected of my wife, her providence is indeed different. The one Hanju cared about the most was Long Hao. This fellow had actually become an immortal emperor and was even prying into fate? What was he and Hao Tian doing? The situation in the immortal world had changed. Hanju was only a bystander. He just needed to read the emails to relieve his boredom. There wasn't much he could do. A month later, Hanju continued cultivating. His target was still the 2 mystic divine origin. According to his estimation, he would break through in at most 100 years. This cultivation speed was still very fast. 17 years later, in the Kane cave abode, 3 lines of words appeared in front of him. Detected that you are 5,000 years old and your life has taken another step forward. You have the following choices. 1. Immediately enter the calamity and fight for Providence. You will rise in the chaotic calamity and shock the heavens. You can obtain a great Tao fragment, a heavenly Tao spirit stone, a mystical power inheritance, and a supreme treasure. 2. Ignore the tribulation temporarily and cultivate in a low-profile manner. You can obtain a great Tao fragment and a heavenly Tao spirit stone. Hanju cursed silently. Ever since the immeasurable calamity began, the choice of reward had leaned towards joining the calamity. This was luring him into the calamity. Hanju refused. The calamity was too dangerous. It was good to cultivate in peace. Hanju wanted to imitate the Tao ancestor. He would only go out when he reached the peak of his cultivation. He would suppress the entire calamity alone. This is not my era. My era is the next calamity. Hanju thought silently and chose the second option. Congratulations on obtaining a great Tao fragment and a heavenly Tao spirit stone. He was only one fragment away from the 9 great Tao fragments. The heavenly Tao spirit stone was used to upgrade Dharma treasures. Without hesitation, Hanju took out the Book of Misfortune and started to upgrade it using the heavenly Tao spirit stone. Since he wasn't involved in the calamity, other offensive Dharma treasures were useless. Therefore, it was better to strengthen the Book of Misfortune. It could even change the situation. After the heavenly Tao spirit stone fused with the Book of Misfortune, it emitted a black light that shone on Hanju's face. The entire cave abode looked sinister and terrifying, like a demonic cave. 7 days later, Book of Misfortune upgraded from a Deity Realm Numinous Treasure to a Deity Realm Supreme Treasure. Deity Realm Supreme Treasure. Without spending his lifespan, even Deity Realm existences could not stop the Book of Misfortune's curse. If it absorbed lifespan, it would be even more useful. Hanju decided to test the waters. He would curse Zhu first. Hanju thought silently. 5 days later, his lifespan began to decrease. On the other side, in the Divine Palace, Zhu was resisting Hanju's curse. He was shocked to find that the curse was stronger than before. This was a bad sign. After the Heavenly Tao Buddha and the Demon Emperor, he would be the next one attacked by the Dark Forbidden Lord? Humph, I want to see what you can do to me. Zhu did not believe it and continued resisting the curse. The curse power continued to increase. About 4 hours passed. Zhu's expression suddenly changed. He knew that something was wrong. He had no choice but to block with all his might. The next day, he took out the Dharma treasure he had long prepared. It was a red lotus flower. He held the red lotus in front of his abdomen, and endless red chi entered his body. Even so, his face turned pale. In the Khanate cave abode, Hanju's eyes were already bloodshot. He had already lost 8 billion years of his lifespan. He would stop in 10 billion years. He stared at the attributes panel, afraid that his lifespan would decrease by a few extra years. 2 hours later, he suddenly put down the Book of Misfortune. He had just squandered 10 billion years of his lifespan. After exhaling, he muttered, "Awesome!" The Book of Misfortune had been upgraded. He didn't believe that Zhu had not been cursed. On the other side, Zhu couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. He raised his right hand and pressed a few areas on his body, wanting to control the violent dermic powers. Damn it! Why is his curse so strong? Is his cultivation level higher than mine, or is he using some special technique? Zhu gritted his teeth, his eyes filled with anger. A prolonged curse would backfire on the user. Usually, curses would target a person for no more than a day, unlike the curse of the Dark Forbidden Lord that lasted for nearly 10 days. If he was fighting during this period of time, what would happen? Zhu was terrified of the Dark Forbidden Lord for the first time. Previously, he was only afraid. No, I have to find him. Recently, the Darkness sect has joined the Heavenly Court. Could it be that the Dark Forbidden Lord is from the Heavenly Court? The more Zhu thought about it, the more he felt that it was possible. The Tao sect and the Darkness sect supported the heavenly court. It was obvious that there was a mysterious force behind all of this, wanting to push the heavenly court up the altar. Perhaps if he defeated the heavenly court, the Dark Forbidden Lord wouldn't be able to sit still. As long as the Dark Forbidden Lord appeared, Zhu Tu would have a way to kill him. Thinking of this, Zhu Tu's eyes turned cold. 20 years later, Hanju stopped cultivating and started to do the curse mission that occurred once every 10 years. While cursing, he checked his emails. Your good friend Ji Xianshan was attacked by your good friend Immortal Emperor Samsara. Your grand disciple Fang Liang was attacked by your good friend Immortal Emperor Samsara. Your good friend Li Daokong was attacked by a mysterious mighty figure. Your good friend Huang Jihao has obtained the inheritance of a mighty figure. His sword Dao has transformed. He's a half-step Emperor Realm cultivator. Your disciple Long Hao has comprehended the great Dao of destiny. His cultivation has increased greatly. Your good friend Heavenly Emperor was attacked by the Heavenly Court's immortals and gods, X280. Your good friend Huang Zuntian received guidance from a sage and learned a mystical power. His cultivation and providence have increased greatly. Your good friend Zhou Fan has joined the Darkness sect. His providence has transformed. There had been no mysterious curse in the past 10 years. It seemed that Xuan Mingyi and Zhu Tu had stopped. However, Hanju noticed that the Heavenly Emperor was attacked by immortals. He had always felt that there were many traitors in the Heavenly Court. Even the Heavenly Emperor's most trusted D Tai Bai was Immortal Emperor Samsara disguised. The other immortals couldn't be completely loyal. Hanju wasn't worried. The Heavenly Emperor definitely had a way to deal with it. How could he be mediocre if he could sit on the Heavenly Emperor's throne? In addition, Huang Zuntian attracted Hanju's attention. This fellow has already hooked up with a sage? Hanju felt that he had to be careful when he saw Huang Zuntian in the future. What if the sage erased the 6 paths insignia in the depths of Huang Zuntian's soul and turned him into a puppet to plot against him? It was very likely. Sages couldn't enter the world and could only control pawns. Just like the one in Yuwa Palace. Just as Hanju was thinking, a majestic pressure descended and enveloped the entire 9 nether purgatory. Immediately after, a domineering roar sounded. All living beings of the heavenly Tao, listen up. The Divine Palace is a puppet supported by the devil race. After obtaining power, it wants to slaughter all living beings. Kill the disciples of the Divine Palace and you can obtain merits. You will be rewarded according to your contributions. Bring the token of the Divine Palace disciples to the Heavenly Court to receive the reward. You can become a god or an immortal. You can enjoy the Heavenly Tao merit. Kill Zhu Tu and you'll be conferred the title of Emperor in the Heavenly Court. The Heavenly Emperor's voice. Hanju was surprised. What happened? He didn't see that the Heavenly Emperor was severely injured, so he couldn't directly contact him. What if the Heavenly Emperor was fighting? Hanju couldn't help but sigh. How many sins had the devil race committed? The greatest burden in the world was on them. He knew that Zhu Tu was not from the devil race, but the former vice sect master of the Jie school. However, there were many traitors in the Jie school. The current Zhu Tu might not be on the Jie school side. They might even be mortal enemies. Over the long years, the devils had always played an evil role. Many conspirators had even thrown their sins on the devils. It was as if all the evil could have been done by the devils. Duan Hongchen shook his head and smiled. Not necessarily. The calamity has already arrived. Who still cares about the devil race? Forgive me for speaking bluntly, the attractiveness of the Heavenly Court is only limited to mortals. In the immortal world, as long as one has a good background, there are really not many people who like the Heavenly Court. Murongchi snorted. No matter what, the Heavenly Court is more attractive than the Divine Palace. The Divine Palace's prodigy is already gone. He came from the Divine Palace, but he hated it. Don't speak nonsense. Master supports the Heavenly Court. The Black Hell Chicken reminded. Everyone couldn't help but look at the Khanate cave abode. Tu Linger asked curiously, "Say, if Master brings our hidden sect to help the Heavenly Court, will the Heavenly Court win the calamity?" Diamond Rage laughed. "Of course. You're all prodigies. The sect master is even stronger than the Heavenly Emperor. With such a force joining, who can stop it?" Murongchi smiled and said, "That's right, but Grandmaster wants us to cultivate well. This calamity is not suitable for us. When the next calamity comes, we will all be immortal emperors and deities. Perhaps we will give birth to Zenith Heaven. At that time, won't we sweep through the myriad worlds?" After interacting with each other for so long, they knew each other's talents. They were really all geniuses. Chu Shuren's eyes lit up. Hearing Murongchi's words, he seemed to have thought of something. He looked at the Khanate cave abode with reverence. "Don't forget that senior called Lu Bu," Sun Chang'an suddenly said. Everyone couldn't help but look at the seaside of Hidden Sect Island. They were all terrified. They had all challenged Zhu Tu in the simulation trial. Even Diamond Rage had been insta-killed. Perhaps in the future, the Golden Crow Divine Clan would still need his protection. The more Jiang Yi thought about it, the more he felt that it was possible. Hanju was too terrifying. His talent was unparalleled and he had been hiding his strength. Hanju was cultivating, so he didn't take the conversation of the hidden sect seriously. They had to gossip to soften the passage of long and boring years. Otherwise, it would be too boring. In the blink of an eye, 30 years passed. Hanju finally had a chance to break through. He was very excited. It had been nearly 300 years, and he was finally about to break through. He almost suffocated to death. Hanju didn't even curse the enemy and directly started to break through. The surging negative karma around Hidden Sect Island began to surge like a silent storm. It was majestic and emitted pressure. The breakthrough of the deity realm was to increase the essence of his divine origin, allowing the essence of his dermic powers to constantly break through the limits. When his dermic powers and soul reached perfection, it would be the opportunity to reach the Zenith Heaven realm. Hanju had the stellar primordial body and the primordial chaos reincarnation great Tao. He only needed to constantly absorb negative karma, he didn't need to go out to find a technique. The primordial chaos reincarnation great Tao was a great Tao cultivation technique that Hanju had exchanged for with 9 great Tao fragments. Even the entire immortal world might not contain such a cultivation technique. The negative karma of the 9 nether purgatory was endless. It was enough for Hanju to cultivate for countless years. Time passed. 8 years later, Hanju finally broke through. His divine origin dermic powers had transformed to mystic divine origin. Hanju became stronger again. This feeling was too wonderful, causing him to make indescribable sounds. As he consolidated his cultivation, he checked his attributes panel. Name, Hanju. Race, Primordial Fiend Celestial. Cultivation, 2 Mystic Divine Origin. Technique, Primordial Chaos Reincarnation Great Tao, Heavenly Cycle Body Tempering. Great Tao of Life and Death, Great Tao of Karma. Hanju almost cursed. As expected of a breakthrough to the deity realm, his lifespan had increased far beyond the Emperor realm. There were too many numbers, Hanju couldn't count anymore. The lifespan deducted previously was directly refreshed as he broke through. Perhaps it was not refreshed, but 9 was the highest number. What was this? 109 quadrillion? 100 million years suddenly became insignificant. Next, he could play it bigger. Hanju had a bold thought. He had nearly 10 quadrillion years of life to squander now. It was simply too much. Hanju spent 2 years consolidating his cultivation. Then, he took out the Book of Misfortune, took a deep breath, and started cursing. This time, he directly cursed the Divine Palace. He wanted to curse the Divine Palace's Providence. He would first use 10 billion years to curse them. He would then use another 50 billion years to play with Zhu Tu. Hanju didn't believe that he couldn't destroy the Divine Palace. Not only could taking revenge on the Divine Palace resolve the problem for the Heavenly Emperor, but it could also avenge his grand disciple, Muronchi. He was at ease and did not feel any burden. 10 quadrillion minus 60 billion years was how much? Hanju couldn't be bothered to calculate, but he knew that it was still the number equivalent to longevity. 5 days later, Hanju's lifespan began to decrease, and the Divine Palace began to suffer. After breaking through, his lifespan decreased even faster. The main reason was that his curse power was also becoming stronger, so the consumption was naturally faster. 2 days later, he lost 6 billion years of his lifespan. He continued. Divine Palace. Zhu Tu sat in the hall and circulated his energy to resist the curse. Report the Rage God Emperor has been cursed by the Dark Forbidden Lord. Report all Golden Frost Palace disciples are being cursed by the Dark Forbidden Lord. Report some new disciples couldn't withstand the curse and were destroyed in body and soul. Report. The voices of the Divine Palace cultivators came from outside the hall. There were already hundreds of people kneeling in front of the hall, representing the various branches of the Divine Palace. Zhu Tu had a dark expression. He did not reply. He couldn't. The Dark Forbidden Lord was too crazy. He actually cursed the entire Divine Palace. He was definitely from the Heavenly Court. Absolutely. Swearing, Zhu Tu took out his book of curses to curse the entire Heavenly Court. Soon, he sadly discovered that the Heavenly Court was protected by the providence of the Heavenly Tao. He couldn't curse it at all. Indignant, he decided to use his lifespan. Using his life to fight against the Heavenly Tao, it shouldn't be able to stop him. But to curse the entire Heavenly Court, how much lifespan did he have to consume? The lifespan of a Zenith Heaven cultivator was almost endless, and they could live through 10,000 calamities without dying. However, if he expended too much, it would endanger his body and soul, causing even more intense injuries. On the other side, after Hanju saw that he had lost 10 billion years of his lifespan, he immediately stopped and adjusted his aura. Because of your curse, the Divine Palace's providence has decreased. Thousands of Immortal Realm disciples have died. Hanju heaved a sigh of relief. Their providence finally decreased. As for those cannon fodder, Hanju could only silently pray for them not to enter the Divine Palace in their next life. After resting for half a day, Hanju started cursing Zhu Tu. It was good to take care of Zhu Tu as soon as possible to prevent any trouble later. Zhu Tu was no longer the greatest winner of the immeasurable calamity. He was at most a shitstirrer now. Even if he died, it wouldn't affect the overall situation. On the other side, Zhu Tu was cursed by Hanju. As the power of the curse strengthened, he had no choice but to put down his book of curses and begin to resist the curse. Damn it, my curse book is still too poor. Not to mention the Dark Forbidden Lord, even the Heavenly Emperor is not affected. Zhu Tu was secretly vexed. He was puzzled. Where did the Dark Forbidden Lord's book of curses come from? There were too many Dark Forbidden Lords in the immortal world cursing the enemy, causing the tribulation aura to change. In the past, he had schemed and fought with all his might. Now, he was hiding in the dark and cursing desperately, so that the enemy would not be able to guess it. Zhu Tu was vexed as he resisted the curse. Several days later, the curse from the Dark Forbidden Lord had yet to stop when Zhu Tu panicked. This curse was even more powerful than before. Could it be that the Dark Forbidden Lord was determined to kill him? It was definitely related to the Heavenly Emperor. Damn the Heavenly Emperor! Zhu Tu was puzzled. Who was behind the Heavenly Emperor? Could it be a sage? Zhu Tu's pupils dilated. Sage? The sage of Niwa Imperial Palace had already helped him. It was not impossible for other sages to appear. The more Zhu Tu thought about it, the more panicked he became. At this moment, his dermic powers began to surge, wreaking havoc on his body. making him feel even more uncomfortable. However, the torture continued. Half a day later. Boom! Zhu couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood essence. His eyes began to bleed. The injuries on his body were still fine as long as his soul was not injured. Zhu racked his brains to think of a countermeasure. From the looks of it, the Dark Forbidden Lord would definitely curse for a period of time. He couldn't just wait for death. Zhu suddenly had an idea. He suddenly shouted, "Heavenly Emperor, you are cruel and heartless. You cursed the billions of disciples of my divine palace and even accused us of being devils. I only wanted to trick the Dark Forbidden Lord. You can't hide anymore. After the Heavenly Tao Buddha and the Demon Emperor, I was also cursed by the Heavenly Emperor and am about to die. All living beings, listen up. The Heavenly Emperor is definitely not a good person to fight for the Providence with such actions. If the Heavenly Court really unites the myriad worlds in the universe, the Dark Era will arrive." Zhu sent out a wisp of his soul and vanished into the darkness. He self-destructed as well, destroying his body and soul. Inside the Khanate cave abode, Hanju's lifespan had already decreased by more than 30 billion years. His consciousness was dizzy. Just as he was about to collapse, he heard Zhu's voice. He immediately stopped cursing and heaved a sigh of relief. Damn it, it seems that it's impossible to spend 100 billion years. Hanju thought silently. When his lifespan decreased by more than 15 billion years, he began to feel dizzy and extremely uncomfortable. It wasn't so easy to spend one's lifespan. Hanju cursed silently. At this moment, golden rain poured down from the nine nether purgatory. The rain fell into the darkness and was devoured by negative karma. Everyone from the hidden sect exclaimed, "Zhu is also dead? Another zenith heaven has fallen. The calamity is really becoming more and more terrifying. The Heavenly Emperor is the Dark Forbidden Lord? Who dares to fight with the Heavenly Court? No! Fortunately, we hid. Otherwise, we would have suffered as well." Everyone chatted and laughed. Jiang Yi's expression was extremely ugly. He had indeed heard his elders mention that they wanted to go against the Heavenly Court. I hope they're smart. Damn it, so the Dark Forbidden Lord is the Heavenly Emperor. No wonder. Jiang Yi trembled in fear. Every time he saw the Heavenly Emperor, he felt as if he had been seen through. It was extremely strange. While they were still marveling, Hanju felt inexplicably uneasy. For some reason, he felt that something was wrong. It was mainly because something was wrong with Zhu's words. It wasn't the hatred of the Demon Emperor and the Heavenly Tao Buddha before their deaths. It was only anger. Is he faking his death? However, the Heavenly Tao phenomenon outside was real. Immediately, Hanju scolded himself. What was there to guess? He directly asked the system. Is Zhu dead? 1 billion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. A remnant soul remains. Hanju showed a frown. As expected of the number one in the calamity, he couldn't even be cursed to death. Oh no! He was escaping. This time, the Heavenly Court and the Heavenly Emperor were in trouble. Of the 4 overlord factions, 3 of their leaders had been cursed to death by the Heavenly Emperor. How could this be? If Hanju was from another force, he would definitely target the Heavenly Emperor. If the Heavenly Court did not collapse, how could they fight for the Providence? Hanju was vexed. Did his actions harm the Heavenly Emperor? No! He was helping the Heavenly Emperor, but Zhu was cunning. If he couldn't win, he would defame the other party. Ridiculous. Hanju was furious. But he had to rest. The dizziness was still there. A deity realm mighty figure was actually dizzy. It would be a joke if word got out. It could only mean that the price of the curse was too high. If not for the Book of Misfortune, Hanju wouldn't dare to curse so easily. Book of Misfortune, Deity Realm's supreme treasure. It can curse living beings and bring misfortune to the other party. At the same time, it will not be detected by the other party. The unnoticeable characteristic was perfectly used by Hanju and developed. A month later, Hanju recovered and took out the Heavenly Dao token to ask about the Heavenly Emperor. The Heavenly Emperor smiled. What are you afraid of? This is even better. I want all living beings to fear me. I want to end the calamity. Only by uniting can I bring peace to the myriad worlds. Hanju was speechless. He had been worried for so long, but he didn't expect the Heavenly Emperor to be so smug. Your Majesty, you still have to be careful. There might be other powerful enemies hidden in the immortal world. For example, the previous Hao Tian and immortal Emperor Samsara who stayed near you in disguise. Hanju had to remind him. As the Heavenly Court's master, the Heavenly Emperor had always been in the open and could be easily plotted against. The Heavenly Emperor said, I know. Actually, I didn't want to unite the immortal world initially. Now that the situation is changing, I can't retreat anymore. I have to face the difficulties. The entire Heavenly Court is looking forward to me unifying the immortal world. I can't stop. These words were said very calmly. Hanju couldn't hear his uneasiness or hesitation, only determination. Knowing that there was a tiger on the mountain, he chose to walk towards it. Hanju sighed secretly. He wanted to save Heavenly Court, but it fell deeper and deeper. Was this the immeasurable calamity? Was this fate? Hanju fell silent. Could it be that he had already entered the calamity? On careful thought, he was indeed a little overwhelmed. Forget it. I just need to have a clear conscience and try my best. If there's really no other way, I can only protect myself. Hanju's eyes became firm. Since the Heavenly Emperor couldn't retreat, he might as well help him win. The Heavenly Emperor's voice sounded again. Recently, the human school has sent over a batch of holy pills, among which are Dao pills that can help deity realm cultivators cultivate. Do you want them? I'll give you 10. Hanju said, forget it. Save it for the immortals of the Heavenly Court. If you give it to me, I won't be able to help you either. It's a waste. The Heavenly Emperor said indifferently, it's fine. You're definitely on my side, but they might not be. Hanju asked Liu Bei to go and retrieve it. At present, the restriction of the 9 nether purgatory was very weak. Liu Bei could forcefully break out. With Liu Bei's cautious personality, nothing should happen. After he left, Hanju continued cultivating. This storm made him realize how terrifying the calamity was. He had to have greater strength to deal with it. I have to say, these enemies are really powerful. I can't even kill them in secret. Hanju sighed in his heart. He admired Zhu Tu and Hao Tian a little. Especially Zhu Tu. He could even harm the Heavenly Emperor with his death. How ruthless. This time, the Divine Palace would probably be in chaos. The chaos in the Divine Palace and the Demon Court might make the immortal world even more chaotic. Should he calculate the Heavenly Emperor's future? Hanju had an idea. Yes. He couldn't always consider the calamity. After all, he focused on saving the Heavenly Emperor. Hanju thought silently, I want to know how the Heavenly Emperor died. 500 million years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. Hanju felt dizzy, then his consciousness was pulled into the scene. He opened his eyes again and discovered that he had arrived in a bright hall. The hall was dilapidated. When he looked up, he could even see the blue sky and white clouds outside the hall. A disheveled Heavenly Emperor sat on the throne, breathing heavily. Hanju's gaze landed on a figure at the entrance of the hall. Hanju showed a frown. This figure was Heavenly Emperor. It's time for the Heavenly Court to change owners. A cold voice sounded as the person walked into the hall. Hanju focused his gaze. Wasn't this Long Hao? Wait. Could it be that he had already been possessed by Hao Tian? The Heavenly Emperor looked up at Long Hao coldly. Unfilial son, do you want to kill your father? Dressed in black, Long Hao said calmly, I've given you a chance. If you insist, shouldn't I inherit the Heavenly Emperor position? Why did you choose the Divine General? The Heavenly Emperor said, the Heavenly Emperor position doesn't depend on strength, but prestige and methods. You and Hao Tian are too close. You have already become his puppet. In the previous calamity, although you obtained great providence, you also made countless enemies. If you are the Heavenly Court's master, how can you lead it to prosperity? Humph, you don't trust me. You trust the Divine General, the Heavenly God General, and my master. You don't trust your son because you're afraid of Hao Tian. You want to obtain achievements that surpass Hao Tian in the Heavenly Emperor position. Long Hao's tone was filled with jealousy and unwillingness. Hanju frowned as he listened. Crap! This kid went astray? However, on careful thought, he felt that Long Hao's desire to become the Heavenly Emperor was not wrong. If the Heavenly Emperor gave up his position and did not give it to Long Hao, there was indeed a reason for him to be unhappy. However, the Divine General's contributions were indeed great. He could be said to be the Heavenly Emperor's most trusted aide. He could also be the Heavenly Emperor. Who said that the position of Heavenly Emperor was hereditary? Regarding the Heavenly Emperor's position, Hanju did not want to take sides. However, if Long Hao killed his father because of this, that would be too much. Long Hao approached the Heavenly Emperor step by step and said coldly, Father, I'll call you one last time. If not for the help of the Dark Forbidden Lord, the Heavenly Court would have long been destroyed in the last calamity. You're really not suitable to be the Heavenly Emperor because you're not strong enough. He suddenly raised his palm and slapped at the Heavenly Emperor. His surging dermic powers transformed into a golden dragon that quickly flew over and wrapped around the Heavenly Emperor like a chain. The golden dragon opened its mouth and began to absorb the Heavenly Emperor's soul. The Heavenly Emperor did not struggle. He was already powerless to resist. He slowly closed his eyes and sighed. The so-called Heavenly Tao is only a bigger pawn. When you become the Heavenly Emperor, you will definitely regret it. The scene shattered. It meant that the Heavenly Emperor would die in Long Hao's hands. Hanju opened his eyes and fell into deep thought. He caught something. The Heavenly Emperor said that Long Hao had made countless enemies in the last immeasurable calamity. In other words, the Heavenly Court and the Heavenly Emperor could survive this current calamity. That's good! Hanju couldn't help but smile. It was good enough to survive this calamity. It seemed that the direction of the calamity had changed again. No! It's because I'm powerful. Hanju was secretly pleased. After the calamity ended, he would definitely be stronger. At that time, he would stop Long Hao from killing his father. Hanju suddenly thought of something. The Heavenly Emperor seemed to trust him unconditionally and accommodated him in all sorts of ways, but he was very strict with his son. Why was that? I want to know why the Heavenly Emperor treats me so well. Hanju continued to ask in his heart. 2 billion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? 2 billion years? Hanju was shocked. The highest so far had only been 1 billion years. What did that mean? It involved an existence far beyond Zhu too. Could it be a sage? Hanju immediately chose to continue. He wanted to see who stood behind the Heavenly Emperor. Although the Heavenly Emperor treated him very well, Hanju had to be wary. The Heavenly Emperor had already said that the Heavenly Tao was a pawn, let alone him. Hanju's consciousness faded again. He came to a hall. This hall was extremely vast and dark. It was as spectacular as the Great Ultimate Hall. The Heavenly Emperor knelt in front of a mat. There was no one on it. It was very strange. An ancient voice sounded, "The Heavenly Tao's immeasurable calamity is a minor calamity. The Great Tao's immeasurable calamity is the major calamity. The Heavenly Court is supported by the Heavenly Tao. The Heavenly Tao is the most impartial. The Heavenly Court cannot reign alone, and the immortals cannot control all living beings. This is the trial of the immortals. The heavenly court's hope is not in the next immeasurable calamity but the following one. The heavenly emperor was deep in thought. After a while, he looked up and asked, "Is it me or others?" "Others. I hope that sage can enlighten me." From the mortal world. The mortal world, the heavenly emperor muttered to himself as if he had thought of something. The scene shattered. Hanju opened his eyes. It was indeed the sage's words. The heavenly emperor was not only good to him, but also to the divine general who had also been immortal. No wonder the heavenly emperor did not choose Long Hao. Hanju didn't continue to check who that sage was. It wasn't good to know more. Hanju had always been very wary of sages and didn't want to get involved easily. Continue cultivating. In the blink of an eye, 50 years passed. Hanju's cultivation level increased steadily. During this period of time, he had been paying attention to the emails. He was surprised to find that after Zhu Tu faked his death, the heavenly court did not suffer any crazy attacks. Instead, it entered a peaceful state. He had asked the heavenly emperor and learned that the heavenly court had already begun to take over the divine palace's territory. Zhu Tu's escape had instead helped the heavenly emperor. Hanju couldn't judge. He felt that something big was about to happen. From the looks of it, the heavenly court was about to unite the immortal world. He was afraid that the heavenly court's allies would betray them. Although Hanju was worried, it was useless. He could only control himself and cultivate in peace. Until this day. Hanju was cursed again. Indeed, the calamity is far from over. Hanju cursed silently and started to deduce who was cursing him. In a dark cave abode, Hanju saw a white-robed man holding a simple book and cursing. This white-robed man was extremely ugly. He was Greedy Lord, the person who would disguise himself as Hanju in the future according to the derivation.